The newest episode of Ganba no Bouken is finally here. So let's talk about it. It was definitely worth the wait this time. It was a very action-packed episode. This episode had a very engaging story to it. This time the ship is docking at a different town that is the hometown of Ikesama. And we get a lot of really good character moments in this episode, more than I've seen in the other episodes. Of course, we get plenty of Ganba, but we do learn an interesting fact about his tail. The show didn't really connect the dots for me in this way, but once they pointed it out, it's like, oh, that's something interesting. Basically, the reason Ganba's tail is scrunchy at the bottom, and unlike everyone else's tail, is because a bit of it was chewed off. I think that was a bit of interesting characterization for him because it shows that he's still willing to go out there. It didn't let it stop him at all, and he's willing to take these risks. And it's not like he's ever gone through anything scot-free. And I'm wondering if we're going to see some backstory about it more. I would love to see some like flashback like that. I think that would be interesting, but it's not necessary. It's still a really good piece of characterization for him. We get more Bobo this episode, I think more than we've had the whole series. He has to go with Ganba to smell out the medicine that they need to heal Chuta for this episode. And of course he ends up getting distracted all the time. He's he's a big goofball, lovable guy, and he doesn't like to get into fights. They get into several fights in this episode, and he doesn't seem to like enjoy any of them, which is cute, I think. But you see him cowering in a corner at one point and smacking his tail everywhere, and everyone's like flying. They can't even get a handle on him because he's just whacking them indiscriminately. So I think it's funny that he has this ability within him, but he just is too nervous to do anything about it. He's actually a pretty physically capable character. This episode was largely focused on Ikesama, which was appreciative because we got the least out of him out of any of the main characters. This whole time he's been shown as this very confident, cocky, know-it-all, badass guy that like just happens to be around people and I don't know, does things. But you see that he ends up leaving the group even though that he said that he was going to join them, and we know he's going to stay with us because he's on all the promotional stuff. So it's not like it was like an unpredictable thing. It was a pretty standard storyline of like the guy doesn't want to go with them because he can't admit that he's scared of Noroi and doesn't want to go with them because he thinks he'll die. He thinks it won't go well for him, and he only looks out for himself really. But it's a cool character moment when he realizes that they don't really have much of a reason to go either, besides they feel the need to. They feel compelled to do something about it. That higher purpose, that sense of that intention is something that moves him enough to help Ganba in this adventure, which I'm happy we got something like that, because I think there's a lot of times where these characters kind of are doing what they're doing out of convenience or just out of the kindness of their heart, I guess. Whereas I think it was really nice to see one of them really be motivated to join this initiative the way that he is, instead of just the way he was introduced. He was just on the boat and was just like, yeah, I'm here too, guys, ha ha ha. It was nice to have something like that. There's a lot of action in this episode, and I'm really looking forward to future action-y bits. I think what's great about this show is that it's not a very talky show. It's very active and moving around and lots of visual motion, and it's really awesome. It also gave me a lot of confidence in the characters because it made me realize that they're all really capable of fighting, which means that they are actually kind of capable of physically taking down this white weasel. The way that Ganba was biting people and punching and kicking or whatever, all the way that they were fighting, I was like, wow, I can actually see them fending off these weasels and the white weasel himself, you know, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm very much looking forward to the action, I think. This is very much an action adventure and not just an adventure. But on the same point, I'm happy that this is a kind of series, an anime series that's action, where they're just beating people up physically. There's no special powers or special abilities or anything like that. I don't know. I think that's something kind of refreshing to see for an anime series that's focused on action and adventure and comedy. They don't have any specific special attack or anything like that. It's just really, it's just them kicking ass, you know. Everything production-wise pulls through again in this episode. Yeah, it's you can't really say much else of how great this looks. I think there's a lot of great directing choices. There's a lot of ambitious shots, but they're all done pretty reasonably. I don't think there's anything where they overreach what they try to do and it comes up short or anything like that. I think all of it looks really good, and all of it is supported primarily through its strong art direction and just general storyboarding direction. That's where I think that this show has its legs and its muscles, really, is in its vision and its direction, and not entirely based on its execution, which its execution is pretty to the nines already. And yeah, the music comes on really strong again here. There's a lot of different variations of the opening theme. Some sad ones, some happier ones. It's all over the place, but it's all a consistent motif, and it's all really good jams. I really enjoy the music in this show. And this episode highlighted for me more than the others is how great the sound design is as well. All of the running sounds have the scurry, like cartoony squeak sound to them. That whenever they hit something, there's always like an impact. There a lot of bounces and noises and sound effects really being used here to make it kind of feel more like a cartoon, which is great. I think it's good that this has such a strong narrative, but it's aesthetically like watching a Saturday morning cartoon. I think that's what makes it really fun, especially. My friend was talking about how this show would be great as something to put on, like something licensed in the US back in the day, like back when Star Blazers was on and everything like that. And I agree. I think this would fit right into stuff like Tom and Jerry and the stuff that the Looney Tunes were doing. This kind of predates American Tail and all the Don Bluth stuff that was happening. I think if this was brought to America around the same time as like Don Bluth or even beforehand, there might have been some small influence there where like people remember this show instead of, well, before they remember American Tail and stuff, and they maybe wouldn't see it as novel. I don't know. I think that's something very interesting to think about. But again, it's great that we're watching it now regardless, and thank you again to Senritsu Subs for your hard, tireless efforts and work. I especially want to shout out that one time you gave a line to the cat with just a meow I really appreciated that. Got a kick out of that. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to next episode. And that should probably do it. Thank you guys so much for watching again. My next main video is in the process of getting worked on right now. I'm making good progress, and I hope it looks good for you guys. I think it's going to be a nice banger. Keep expecting these to come out every so often when the new episode of Ganba comes out. I'm very happy with the consistency so far. I know that they skipped about a week for this episode, but that's okay. They're making good progress. This is a tough show to sub, by the way. The voice performances do not make it easy. Anyway, I'll see you guys around.